How are you, everyone? Whenever I join the live, I have to say I love the passion, guys. You guys passionately debating in this discussion. I guess it's great to live in a free country where everybody is practicing their First Amendment. So it's grateful to be here. Um, I decided to do this live today because I was checking my news, and as you can see, the White House decided to boycotting the Winter Olympic, diplomatically for sure. And, this is, this is a thing. Like, U.S. is so utterly divided right now that nothing that any political party that they do is like happy about it. Nobody's happy about anything, right? It's like it's gotta all meet the narrative. But today I really thought, for my mind, this is still a bigger step, and this is still a big political message to China. And so I'm trying to have this discussion with you, and you can completely disagree with me, and that's the joy of living this free world. And I don't know, I guess I'm very happy to hear that. And I still empathize with the athletes. They've been practicing to participate in the Olympic for 4 years of their life. And as you know, that the lifespan of, career-wise, right? Expect life is not that long, and if you lose that 4 years, you have to wait another 4 years, which is 8 years of your life. And that's why I do feel extremely bad for these athletes. And that's why if they do decide to go, I hope they make a political statement. If they, a lot of them, they did make a political statement in Tokyo last time about how they were not supporting U.S. flag. And hopefully they are going to do this time in Beijing, and how they're going to not support the genocide that is committed by CCP. That'd be good, right? And I don't know if you guys know the Enes Kanter, who is a NBA star, and he's been really risking all his career and denouncing CCP. And this is what we really need from the individuals who care about these principles, this virtue and freedom that stands up for this issue. And the reason why I do think is a good, at least what Biden did this time, is very good. It's so sad. Why can't you not, praise something just by action? And that's what we all should be aiming at. The tribalism is not helpful in any way, and this group thinking is not helpful for anybody. And for that reason, I do think I want to praise the U.S. government today standing up for human rights and not supporting this genocide Olympics. What China has been done even lately is so alarming that it's scary. I know it's like humans can be very, alarmist, and I try not to that. But think about it. Even recently, China literally categorizing the journalists based on traffic lights. Did you guys hear this news? If you are like, there's between, green, amber, and red. Depending on these three categories, if you are in the red, right, they are watching you every second, and you are being watched by the regime, and they're gonna do whatever it means to shut you down. If you are in the green light, you are okay. You are like supporter of CCP, and the social credit score is extending so vastly that China is like North Korea now. And this Olympics is not, if we don't boycott, at least diplomatically, what does that say about us, right? Like, in the past, in the human history, we even participated in the Nazi Germany Olympics. And humans do repeat their histories, and this is what we are going through. China is committing genocide. There's a crime against humanity committed in North Korea that we are not doing anything about it. And I do think this is finally a time for us all coming out together, boycotting Chinese product, boycotting that companies support China, and making profit by pleasing CCP in this evil regime. That we need to do this campaign in the US while we still have some time left. Vic London, Yeonmi, thank you for your videos. Love from India. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So today I'm gonna ask more questions, but congratulations on your being American citizens. Thank you very much. I am grateful to be American. It still haven't kicked in yet because I guess when I vote, I will finally feel like American. Yeah. Charlene, so thank you so much. Thank you. I know, guys, so much happening. Even this news about that robots can like rebirth, regenerate. So much news is coming out that I feel like we need to really pay attention to. Until coronavirus, I did not know how fragile our ecosystem is and how fragile our liberty was. And this is really, for me too, is an awakening point. Even in America, that our freedom is not guaranteed. And that is a lesson that we all supposedly learn. And problem was we gotten so comfortable living in this bubble and thought that freedom was gonna last here forever. And it's not, obviously, right? So, my fellow North Korean American, Steven, if they do just swimming Olympics now, let's go. Yeah, freedom is only one generation away from being lost. I agree. It is. What is shocking though is that why the countries like Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, right, even China, people are not starving, and a lot of them are suffering from poverty, but not like the North Korean level of isolation. And then why? I guess people's desire to be taken care of is definitely higher than desire to be free. And that is shocking to me. Like, I'm like really learning human nature, right? What we are, what it means to be a human is a very complex question. I don't think anybody has an answer to that. But it does seem like it absolutely seems like that. I've been actually over the weekend, I went out with my North Korean defector girlfriends, and we had dinner, we had dance party, we had a lot of fun. And like North Korean defectors, first generation comes here, even though they were like top elite children in North Korea, they come here, they don't speak English, their job is only like working in a nail salon, working in the nursing homes. And these girls don't complaining, right, at all. They just grateful for a job that pays them their bill, and they can build their home here in this country, and they're very grateful to be free. And I asked them, why is it so busy? These girls are so busy. They are like in their 20s, and I asked them, why is that? It's like because there's so much demand for eyelash extension or like nails. Why is that? And they said like just because nobody wants to work right now in America. They were saying because of the government handouts, nobody wants to work, and that's why these places are demanding workers, and that's why they have to work very, very hard right now. It is so shocking, like now it's the government handouts making people not want to work. And what a perfect way of, I still remember when Andrew Yang, he wrote this book, People's Choice. You have to look it up. When he was running presidency and talking about how this like universal income gonna make everybody's life better, and I read his book, and I almost like 20%, maybe more, like 40% thought that was a very intriguing idea, giving people like freedom from financial burden, and they can be creative, they can pursue their dreams. And like it's a thing how short memory that I have, but like look at it, the universal income doesn't do anything, actually make people lazy and do not give them incentive to be working. So yeah, so it was fascinating to hear them like now just really nobody wants to work. And it's funny that's the result of like giving people this much money. California is going to hell, Steven. Yes, I know, and Chicago is going to hell too. It's what is remarkable about living in Chicago right now is that I heard at least the crimes were used to be in the South Side, and now it's like everywhere. Literally last year alone, University of Chicago, 1 year, there 3 students died, just murdered by walking on the street, not doing anything stupid, right? And it's unthinkable. You are not safe to go to school in America. This is something that we talk about in some Middle Eastern, some African countries where there's like no safety. And in America, we are in the same situation where we don't know. And this is why, guys, you gotta pray for me to get out of Chicago and going down to Florida. Thankful to be in Texas. I'm so jealous of the people who are in the states that still there's a law exists. There's no rule of law right now. Oh, thank you. So, with the rise of anti-vaxxers, what are your theories on gangs such as the Mongolian mob and Black Power encouraging inoculations? So, with the rise of anti-vaxxers, what are your theories on gangs such as, I'm not sure what are those, Black Power or Mongol mob encouraging inoculations? What is inoculations? The action of inoculating or being vaccination. Well, I mean, I'm going to disclose I am vaccinated, double vaccinated, but I am refusing to get the booster shot because I got the vaccine because I had to travel, right? And as you guys know, I give speeches and I wanted to protect people, other people who are coming to my speeches. And that was the only reason I thought, like, if there's any chance that I can help the people to be safe coming to my speeches, I would do that. But when I got the vaccine, I had a very horrible side symptoms. Like, I am still 70, 90 pounds, and literally there's a guy who are over 200 pounds sitting next to me getting the same equal dose. I'm in Korea, guys, in South Korea, your dosage from your medication, everything is based on your weight. It's not based on your age at all in Korea. Like, whenever you go to hospital or doctor's office, they weigh you and measure your height first, so they can accurately measure the medication for your size. And in America, it doesn't matter if you're like 300 pounds, 70 pounds, you get the exact same dose. And this sounds very, very dumb to me. So I do think that they are just not capable of, calculating that dosage right. And at this point, there's just keep new variant coming out. It's just so much. It's not like even the misinformation. I think this is up to individual to decide what they want to do. And I still really believe that life is a risk. And when people trying to eliminate every kind of risk, that is not realistic, right? Like, even you walking on the street, you can die from a lot of things. Something falls on your head, like you might trip, something, lightning happens. Life is a risk. And Americans so got comfortable. They are so afraid of any kind of risk they are taking. And that's the thing, like, how much risk do you want to take in life? But nothing great came out not taking any risks. So it's not like I'm asking people not to take a vaccine. I took the vaccine, but it should be all individual choice. I think this is a very clear thing to me, that if people are willing to give up their freedom for safety, they deserve neither. And this is the exact same thing with the Second Amendment, right? It's so sad how much people are willing to give up their liberty and their rights for some little tiny bit of security. And eventually they're not going to get any of those. And they don't understand that. So you look so calm and composed, at least one on the outside. How and when does your trauma still affect you? Respect from an Indian living in Germany. Oh, thank you. When does my trauma affect me? I don't know. I think this is a thing where I think this is something I really want to be plain about it. Somehow, like, Americans are so used to not feeling a lot of pain, right? Like, if you feel depressed, go get the meds, right? Go talk to therapist and get the prescription pills. Like, there is no tolerance for any pain. And I've been reading this Alain de Botton. This is a French philosopher. He wrote this book about on love. And he also gave this amazing TED talk, Why You're Going to Marry a Wrong Person. I would really recommend you to read that. What he talked about life is that either what you're gonna suffer in life, either what you're going to regret, right? Like getting married or not getting married, you're gonna regret either way. Having children, not having children, you're gonna regret anyway. So choose your own suffering. And people in America don't really have that conception that life is suffering. And a lot of times in life, what we do is like choosing our own suffering. Like, in what way do I want to suffer, right? And they don't view life that way. They think somehow whatever they choose, they gotta be happy 100% of the time. And that's why I refuse to take any kind of medication for depression or anxiety, any of that. That does not mean I don't get depressed, or that doesn't mean I don't get anxiety. I do get them, but I do try to naturally overcome them. And this is very worrisome as a mother of a child. Like, we are having this culture, keep telling people it's not okay to feel even a little bit of pain. And it's a remarkable, people keep asking me, like, why are you so normal, right? They somehow expecting someone to be so messed up if they've gone through rape and slavery, all of that at the age of 13, right? That's what the Americans expecting it to be. I think the fact that I understand life is suffering, and I think that's the thing. Like, what I learned in life is that actually choosing to die takes a second, right? It's the easiest thing you can imagine. Choosing to live is a hard thing. And that's why we have to choose to live, because that's what is a meaningful thing. That's what makes life worth it. You understand the suffering, you understand the pain, despite that you choose to live. And that's why the maturity comes from, not because you don't understand how hard life is. You actually understand how hard it can be. So I think that really helps, that perspective really helps me. And even if I didn't go through slavery, I'm sure I've been dealing with another difficulty in my life. And that's why I completely understand there are challenges and suffering, even being in America, even being rich or healthy, whatever you have. We are all suffering in many ways, and that's why we got to be compassionate. And yeah, so came here, so excited to see the progress you've made. What plans do you have to celebrate 1 million subscribers? Wow, 1 million subscribers. Have party with you guys. I will invite my North Korean friends and gonna make American and North Korean food. We're gonna cook together. It's good to be having these friends and went through the same journey that I go through, and seeing them, they really inspire me. Like, it just, at Colombia, being at Colombia 4 years, these children had everything, never even gone one day without being starved, hungry at nighttime, and telling me how they are oppressed all day long, and meeting North Koreans who are sold, who's been tortured, who lost all their family members, and working. This young girl, so pretty, this young girl working in a nursing home, working 12 hours a day, and saying how grateful they are. Like, I really get inspired whenever I see them. And sometimes I guess suffering is necessary to feel the gratitude in life, unfortunately. So Vincent, good to see you. Congrats on your citizenship, Yeonmi. I'm happy to finally call you my American sister. The impact of your videos and messages are so important to the world. So thank you for what you do. Oh, thank you. Also joining me on my Patreon. Vincent is my Patreon. Thank you all my patrons for supporting me to come this far. I cannot believe that I'm coming this far, but you know, we have a way long road to go, which means we have to now fight back against CCP. The other thing I really want to talk about today is that how we are not talking about it at all in the media, the impact of the lockdowns and the impact of this loose southern border and how much drug comes in and how many young people are dying from the drug overdose. We do not deny that. I do not deny that COVID killed a lot of people, but drug overdose is a very different thing. It's not a pandemic. It's not a virus. It is something so preventable thing. Like nobody anticipated pandemic to happen, but there is so much drug coming into this country from the southern border right now, and more than 100,000 people last year died from drug overdose, and a lot of them are young people died from overdose. Right, like if you are overweight, diabetes, and the elderly, COVID is a very, very dangerous thing for you. And there is a way we can help them to be more isolated, get vaccinated, and help them out. But there's nothing being done about this drug overdose that killed more than 100,000 Americans last year. It's saddening and it's very upsetting. It's unbelievable. It's just, how are you doing this? Why are we not doing anything about this? And why the media is not talking about it? It's just so Julian, is there a way I can private message you to share important information? There's much I know should brought your attention given your influence. Oh, thank you. Please join my Patreon and you can send me direct messages over there. That would be the way. So government intervention killed a lot of people. Vigeland, how prevalent is crystal meth in North Korea? Yeah, it's very, very widespread in North Korea, especially Kim Jong-il told the officers to initially to create this crystal meth. So he thought if they take the crystal meth, they wouldn't sleep and they can function in a very higher I think setting. So he even demanded top officers to take this crystal meth to join the meetings and think differently. And of course now so many people be addicted, and they are one of the biggest exporters of crystal meth. And so much drug now coming from China and North Korea. And this is another very upsetting part about CCP. They literally do a death sentence for the drug dealers in China. You get executed in China if you sell drugs. But they are willing to sell drugs to the US. They don't mind that Americans buying these drugs from them. And this is the thing, like, what are we doing here? Like, in some sense, right, like, what China does, we have to understand, like, Xi Jinping is very driven by longevity of the Communist Party that is dominated by the Han Chinese. And anything that threatens their sustainability and peace, inner peace, he's not willing to compromise. And that's why he's going after Uyghurs so much, why he's going after Tibetans so much, because they are keep asking for independence from China, the mainland. And he's willing to eliminate all the Uyghurs in China. But like, in not anywhere I'm praising China, but like how they are so protective of their people from the drug, it is something that we need to look out for. And we should be doing the exact same thing, because there's so many countries fell apart because of drug. I mean, that's how the China when the Britain, right, they were giving them so much opium, they didn't know what it was, and all the people became drug addicts. And that's how the Qing dynasty fell apart. And that is why we are, I don't know, maybe that's what China is like planning to do. They are planning to destroy America in so many directions that we cannot even fathom right now how many attacks we are under. And I do think drug is one of them. So much drug is coming into this country and changing people and killing them. And the government is not combating this pandemic about war on drugs, right? So, Prick, thank you. Here we go. So, Vic London, have you tried DMT? Joe Rogan would approve. Is that DMT? Is some kind of drug, a psychedelic? I know there's like hard drugs and soft drugs. So what are your opinions on CDC? Do you think they are trustworthy or are they taken too seriously? I mean, it's not aside that CDC has been giving us a lot of wrong information and keep changing their mind, and how they are willing to vaccinate our children, even though our children, the bigger threat to children's death is a swimming pool, so like drowning, right? Like children are really safe from COVID. That is very clear, but they are determined to make a mandate for children to take it. And I am very upset at that. It's unthinkable. Giving them the side effects they get from getting a vaccine and not getting it is much better for them, and they are not willing to say that to us. So I do think that's why. But not only that, like everything should be able to question, right? This is the thing. This is why science is verifiable and it's questionable and it's falsifiable. That's the characteristic of science. It's something for it to be a scientific. It's falsifiability. That's the definition of science. Everything is questionable. But when it comes to CDC, we cannot question it. And that's why I get nervous. Like this is like North Korea. Like you cannot challenge what the government says. Like whatever they say is the ultimate truth. And nobody knows the ultimate truth. We have to keep searching for that truth. And I think that's why I do have a big problem with the CDC, because of that, how arrogant, how authoritarian they are, that nobody can challenge their science because everything can be improved, right? Somebody said what DMT was. Okay, Larky, hello fellow American from Florida. Oh my God, I want to move to Florida. I just finished listening to your narration of Peter Kropotkin in Mali's book. Curious what that experience was like. Did you choose the chapter? You did a great. Oh my God, I cannot believe. So Michael Malice and I are friends, and he asked me to narrate a audiobook. And this book was like written many decades ago. So the English was not even this 21st century English. I'm glad you were able to understand me even a little bit. Thank you. So Malara, so Yeonmi, hi there. Been a while since I have been in your live stream. What do you think of Biden's approval ratings? Currently they are abysmal. I mean, the fact that after Afghanistan that he didn't get impeached, that's a miracle. That shows how corrupt American media became right now. Like people in Afghanistan right now, guys, are dying from starvation. And it's unthinkable. I know that like a lot of people say we had to leave Afghanistan. I agree with you. We had to leave, but we didn't have to live that way. We could have rescued all Americans first of all, and then rescued everybody that helped the U.S. the country, and we could have rescued all the people who were vulnerable under Taliban. There's a different way of living a country. And after that disastrous foreign policy that Biden didn't get impeached is because how protective the mainstream media is in America covering up this. And just almost babysitting Biden. It's like pathetic to looking at media that they are just, even though today I am praising the White House for making this decision to stand up for human rights and boycotting diplomatic boycotting the Beijing Olympic. It's they still are pathetic people that so unbelievable. I just so okay. Shooter Down Under. So I'm familiar with the crystal meth industry in North Korea. Over 10 years ago, a ship called the Pongsu, which carried crystal meth, was sunk off Australia. Wow. Yeah, a lot of the crystal meth coming out of North Korea. So Nabi, my very close from whom I stay contact from Tianjin, stated that CCP is worse than ever. To the wealthy that goes against them, they interrogate, lecture, brainwash, attempt them for weeks. Love your work. Thank you so much, Nabi. Nabi means butterfly in Korea. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, that Xi Jinping even changed their constitution and saying that he's gonna be the eternal leader of China. And this shows us, how absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like, there's no way it doesn't get corrupted. And Xi Jinping is never gonna rotate among the other Communist Party officers, and he's becoming a Mao kind of figure, brainwashing children about the greatness of Xi Jinping, and his teachings and his words is exactly like North Korea and what Mao did and Stalin did. And China becomes like now Xi Jinping. He's the face of entire China. So this is why I do think, Vietnam, even think about the Vietnam War and thinking about even Chinese under the Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong, whenever America did not fight for freedom and gave up, this is a consequence that we get. Imagine America didn't give up and supported Chiang Kai-shek, the Taiwan side, to win the entire battle. And the world supported Chiang Kai-shek to win the whole battle with Mao. Imagine, guys, entire China was like Taiwan. What a blessing to humanity that would be. Like, how much souls we could have saved, and what a thing for the humanity to have the entire China was under freedom. Well, America didn't fight till the end. And of course, Vietnam is a lot smaller, but like, you look at whenever America stopped fighting for freedom and came home, and that's what happened, right? The southern Vietnam fell to north and became communist, and millions of suffered from this communism. So I did think that history teaches clearly that we need to fight for freedom, no matter what. And what Martin Luther King Jr. said, if anybody, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. I used to quote that, that sentence from him a lot, but I did not quite understand what it meant. Why is that affecting me that somebody is not free somewhere out across this, earth? And it is true, like when some people are not free in China, it is affecting all of us. And that is why we have to fight for freedom. That is why we have to liberate every single one of them and get rid of every dictator that is threatening human rights and freedom. Because until then, nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. Our freedom is never going to be guaranteed until then. So, Ziox, so Joko willing for president. I love Joko. I got connected him to Twitter. He's amazing. So Gabriel, Christian fundamentalist in Canada, wanted to have a principal fired because she listened to metal. What do you think about conservative cancer culture? I don't know what's metal, and what do I think about conservative cancer culture? Any kind of cancer culture is bad. Any kind of extremism is bad. Like, I plainly say that on the right, on the left is all bad. The reason why I am fighting against the left is now that because they are on the mainstream. They are in control of media. They are in control of government. They are in control of education and culture, right? If the right extremists who are like white supremacists, who are racist, really controlling all of that, I would equally condemning them all. And it's not about me choosing a political side. That any kind of cancer culture is bad, but I don't know how prevalent that is because nobody, that Christian conservatives right now running any of the mainstream culture in America or Canada, anywhere right now. In fact, all these Marxist-driven communists, they are running all the major institutions in this country. Like, can you name one big tech corporation other than Rumble? And I don't know, that's it, right? Who is on the side of libertarian or conservative? All of them are left. So I think that's the thing, but I do condemn any kind of cancel culture. Like, that is not healthy for democracy. And if you know truth, why do you even cancel somebody, right? So no. Here. Your face is a bit shiny, I know, guys. That's a Korean skin care resume. We call it glowing, but you guys call it shiny. So I know how many ladies are here today. I can give you a quick tip. If you do make your face very matte and dry, I know even though that's American culture, you're gonna get a lot of wrinkles very quickly. And the goal of skincare is let your skin moisturize 24/7. So it is sad in America, like how many people get wrinkles so quickly. And if you just avoid the sun and if you do moisturize it well, you can have the youthful skin until in your 70s. And I think Americans just not used to seeing the Korean skincare, so keep telling me I'm shiny. Well, I don't mind. So Benjamin, fight for freedom is safe from a safe place. You mean my brothers and sisters in the army and other branches of the military fight for the freedom of the others, have faith in the world to solve their own problems. Yes, there are so many people, intelligence officers that we don't know, dying for freedom and our safety right now. But I don't have faith in the world. I don't have faith in the world, actually, because I know how humans are infinitely malleable. That's the thing. It's what Dennis Prager was told me, right? Like, he said human nature is bad, but there are good people. Like, he said, I do not like humanity, but I do like people. I think there is distinction where people say, oh, human nature is good or bad, right? I do really challenge that question, because I have seen the worst in humanity. I have seen the best in humanity. Humans are so malleable that we can be anything. And that's very scary, right? Like, if you are shaped by a dictator and those concentration camps, like guards, is that their fault, right? They were shaped by these people. And because of our human nature is not either like good or bad, I do think that we have to constantly preaching the good. We constantly have to talk about light. We have to talk about love. We have to talk about forgiveness. We have to talk about those things. You cannot be just sitting here and have faith everything gonna work out. It didn't work out for my country. If North Koreans just trust it was gonna work out, after 80 years it didn't work out for them. But I am grateful for the people making so much sacrifice, keeping us safe while we are in this safe home. So many veterans go there. So many intelligence officers go out and saving our country, right? So that is a very different question. But I do think we cannot be just sitting down at home and thinking everything is gonna be fine, because it's not gonna be. And I hope that life was that easy, just having a faith, and that would be enough. But life requires action. And that's why I'm taking that action. And I try not to comply. And I know I can be easily shut down by any of these platforms, right? I can be canceled like everybody else. Like, they were canceling the Trump, like the sitting president getting canceled. Who is safe right now in this cancel culture? But you have that faith that when you do the right thing, when you stand for something that is noble, that you are somehow making the world a bit of better place. And that's why I'm asking you to do the same thing, even though maybe it would come with a risk. You're talking about your opinions in your workplace, in your wherever, in family meetings. But we got to do that. We have to make it normal again to the people that it's okay to disagree, right? It's okay to be wrong. Like, we have to have a culture that has mercy to make a mistake. And right now, like, if you, that's like, the no mercy thing is a very common thing. If you are once a landowner or the capitalist, if you once supported something that they didn't like, you are forever doomed. They never forgive you. They execute you. But the difference between living in grace, presence of God, the difference of living in freedom, because there is a grace there. And that's why you can make a mistake and you can be forgiven. And we cannot keep sitting dire about this culture of no mercy and this cancel culture where people get persecuted for their opinions. It is really funny. I really have to share this with you. So while I was taking this citizenship, civic, and English test, there's many questions like, have you ever been a terrorist, supporting the terrorists? And there's one question that really stuck with me. Have you ever persecuted anybody for their political opinion? And I said no, but I have been though. And if you said that, they might not give you the US citizenship. Did you know that, guys? In the US civic test, one question they ask, have you ever persecuted anybody for their political opinion? If you do, you have no right to become an American. There have so many people in America right now, they have no right to be an American, but they are. The principle of this country was designed to make the people are not persecuted for their political opinion. So many people are being persecuted for their opinion right now in America, and that's the actual oppression that we need to fight for. And it's just remarkable. It's remarkable they say hate speech is like violence. I'm like, how hate speech or violence? Who defines what is hate speech? And we are sitting here and fine with that. So I hope you guys join me. That's the thing. Like, I'm American, and you guys are American, hopefully. And if we don't join this fight, like, I don't know, when we lose this country, who are you gonna blame? That's gonna be only blaming us. Like, I did not blame Kim Jong-il or Kim Il-sung. After I was reading Animal Farm, like, by George Orwell, I blamed my grandma, who knew something better, who knew that life could be better, didn't fight for it. So when it came to me, I did not even know what freedom was. So, Julian, have you seen the TV show The Chosen about the life of Jesus? I would love to. Thank you so much. The Chosen, I will take a picture of that. Tonight, I'm gonna watch The Chosen. Benjamin, so would you be willing to sacrifice your child in this cause? No, absolutely not. I will risk my life for that. But that's an individual choice. I don't think it's anyone's right to make a decision for anybody else. If he's an adult, as long as he's my child and minor, it is my right to guiding him to make the right choices. But once he becomes adult, nobody should ever take a decision for anybody else. I don't believe in that. I believe in the individual dignity of individual, that even if my child, once they become adult, it's not my own property. Nobody's my property. Nobody belongs to me. No human belongs to anybody. That's why I fight against people who say that we should belong to the state. They don't own us. Nobody can own us, right? That's because we are made in the image of God. That's how holy we are. And it is so hard to argue that in this culture where they call that humans are disease, they call that we are the problem. And I believe in humanity. I was thinking, I just watched over the weekend this movie called Artificial Intelligence, AI. It was made a long time, like 2000 something, when I was literally in North Korea. And it's such a thought-provoking movie, right? This like artificial intelligence child looking, fighting for mother. I have a boy. It's so hard, like, watching that movie. And I was thinking, what an incredible thing to think about the human mind. It's so beautiful, isn't it? Like in freedom, in free market, it's only possible because we incentivize people who can think innovatively. Only in the culture where innovation is promoted, we can think such a thing. And human mind is beautiful. That's the thing, humans are so malleable that we can think of something like that. Like who would have thought what is artificial intelligence is and what our mind is capable of doing when there is a freedom and liberty that we can think freely, where the innovation is, celebrated. And yeah, that's why like I fight for humans, because we are incredible, but we do need the education to teach them what is wrong and what is bad, what is good, right? And of course, when you're born, you don't know what it is, and that's why you need the parents, you need a community to guide them. So the shiny ones are talked about in Babylonian tablets. Shine on beautiful human person. Wow, that's beautiful. I love Babylon 5. So sorry guys, I've been missing so many questions. I got passionate about that question, sorry. So here we are. This is learning, folks. Soak it up. You're funny. So I have risked it before. It seemed to end up with more pain. You mean what? I don't know what you mean. So would you be willing to sacrifice your child in this cause? And I have risked it before. It's a hard question. I don't think. Anyway, let's move on to the next questions, guys. I know. Thank you for joining me on this Monday. I know I'm grateful for Monday because we get to do the work that is required to fight for the better world. So I'm grateful that you joined on this session. So I watched Sacrifice in the Name of a Cause. Okay. Have you ever? Let's answer 3 more questions, guys. So have you ever considered that the reason why North Korea isn't helped by America is because they don't have natural resources like gas or other commodities? So micro towns. That's a great question. I know a lot of people say that. They were like, oh, the only reason that America went into Iraq is because they have oil. Why the world is not helping our North Koreans? It's a mystery, right? But then like a lot of countries. So this is the thing. North Korea, there are many countries want to help North Korean people, believe it or not. There's world organizations, international organizations, the UN, South Korea, Japan, America, Canada, Australia, all these countries are willing to give humanitarian aid to North Korea. But the one who says no to humanitarian aid is Kim Jong-un and the North Korean regime, because they don't want to be the people who wants to be helped by international organizations. It helps them to keeping people suffering and starved, so people cannot thinking about what revolution is. So that is why people are suffering. But there's different question why then international community not doing anything about it and getting rid of this dictator. It's because they know that if they ever attack North Korean regime, that China gonna join. That's what happened, right? During the Korean War, America joined and tried to save South Korea and Korean people. China joined and then pushed the American military back, and they have to draw that 38 parallel DMZ in between, right? Because of China, nobody wants to now go to war within China. Even America is afraid of China, then who else is not afraid of China? So it's just simply, China is running North Korea. And if you do anything to North Korean regime, the China gonna get involved. That is the only simple reason why we couldn't do anything about North Korea all this time. And it is sad, like the world is still condemning China right now for their Uyghur problems and Tibetans, but they are not talking about the genocide committed by North Korean regime that is supported by China. Until I really started this channel and talking about it, Nobody ever heard this before. They were like, what do you mean China is responsible for North Korean human rights issues? Like, yeah, because they are the one the sponsoring Kim Jong-un to be in the throne. So because that's as simple as that, because of China, nobody been able to help the people of North Korea at all. So shooter down under again. So since you have chosen on your watch list, May, I suggest you watch the 10 Commandments and the Price of Egypt, as they are both based on the book of Exodus in the Bible. You might find these movies very relatable. Thank you very much. I'm going to take a picture of it too. So Commandments and the Price of Egypt. Perfect. So May, good to see you. Could North Korea become like Vietnam? Vietnam has made China-style economic reforms, but it has kept the rule of the Communist Party. That'll be at least a progress, right? It's I do believe that changing North Korea gotta be gradual process, and if you cannot democratically somehow change the country, at least doing the economic reform first, so nobody dying from starvation, and then gradually letting people to understand and getting them joining this international community slowly. So that would be at least like some kind of dream come true. Anything would be better than what it is right now in the North Korean Kim Jong-un regime. So that'd be really, really nice. So EXO again. So we need the North Korean people. Please help free these people. This is very important. Thank you so much. I know it's so sad that no more North Koreans are immigrating to America because we are not the most welcome immigrants in this country. But I do think in this country right now we need more people that understands the price of freedom and find the value of American foundation. I just remember that if you ever persecute anybody for their political opinion, you are not responsible to become American. That I learned, and that's why what this cancel culture does is not constitutional. That's simply what it is. Like anything that this Marxist idea is driven is going against our founding fathers' idea for America. That is not America is. We do not persecute people for their political opinions. And that is why I am grateful for that. Anybody who disagreed with me in this session, that is your, First Amendment right. And it's my amendment right to, speak my mind. So thank you guys for joining today's session. I wish you a wonderful week ahead. And let's celebrate today that at least this was a step towards justice, a step towards accountability, that US, diplomatically boycott the Beijing Olympic. So I hope that more countries do this and show to China that we are standing up for human rights. So thank you, Malala, Yeonmi, looking like a cherry pie. World is too addicted to Chinese cheap labor. We are high on. Guys know the better. So love you guys and see you next week. Bye. Have a good weekend. Thank you so much.